How to write a good CV. I'm going to give you the 5 best tips there are to write a good CV. My name is Maarten C. Jong, 20 years of experience in recruitment and being a hiring manager, and I'm going to tell you all there is about how to write a good CV. First tip is the structure. Start with a structure that is proven to be successful. This structure is your name, contact information, professional summary, core competences, work experience, education, certification, and languages. Are there any variations possible? Of course, if you're a student, you might want to swap education with work experience. And if you are a researcher, you might want to add publications in the bottom of the resume. But for the rest, stick to the structure. Tip number 2, very important, use a single column resume. What is a single column resume? I get this question a lot also from my clients. Go to Word. Everybody has Word, Microsoft Word on your computer. Go to templates, type in ATS, and you will find single column resumes. Well, why a single column resume? Because a multi-column resume creates challenges in the ATS system, the applicant tracking system. It's not always easy to parse, to use all the data from a multi-column resume into a database, and the risk is quite high that your information gets lost. The recruiter doesn't even see your resume, only sees parsed data that's incomplete, and will send your CV to the no pile. So don't take this risk. Use a single column resume. On this single column resume, don't use photos, graphics, emojis. Don't put this little envelope in front of your email address, or this little phone, or other kind of graphics, because it really messes up your resume. In this parsing system, these ATS systems, they basically scrape all the data from your resume and put it in a funnel and make a different kind of resume from the data that they scrape from your resume. And risks are really high that if you put this icons, emojis, photos, graphics in your resume, risk is very high that information will not be parsed in the right way. So your application will be sent to the no pile before you even know it. Skills and keywords. AI is getting bigger and bigger in recruitment. So you send in your application with your cover letter and your resume, and before the recruiter even sees it, AI has done its work. So what AI does is AI filters on keywords, strategic keywords, skills, competences, titles. So make sure that your resume is aligned with the vacancy that you're applying for, because otherwise AI is just gonna remove your resume from the application funnel. Before the recruiter even sees your resume, you're already rejected. So align your resume, like I discussed in my previous video, by the way, with the skills, keywords, competences, and titles in the vacancy. And of course, they need to be relevant. Don't mention a bunch of keywords in your resume that is not relevant to you, and it doesn't resemble your actual skills and competences. Work experience. Stop mentioning your responsibilities. Nobody is interested in your responsibilities. What people want to know is what you actually did. What was your role in it? Not the team's role, but your role. What was your impact? What was the result? That's what people want to know. Use this formula to describe your work experience. You start every bullet with an action verb. You led, you scaled, you reduced. Then you follow up with, what did you do? In what kind of context? What was the impact? And to top it all off, you mix in one of the strategic keywords that we discussed earlier. The strategic keywords that will trigger the AI to select your profile. Conclusion: rewrite your work experience in a way that makes sense, that makes it clear to the employer what you did, what your role was, and please the AI algorithms, the databases, by sprinkling in some strategic keywords that we discussed earlier. Seniority. What I notice with all of my clients is that, first of all, they mention all your responsibilities and they never focus on their seniority. So when you are a senior, when you are a manager, it's logical that you're responsible for a budget. It's logical you're responsible for an end result. So if you are a senior and you want to stress your management capabilities or your senior skills, always mention a metric in your work experience. What were you responsible for? The budget, the revenues, the targets. Mention a metric. If you're a senior, you are responsible for a metric that is measurable. So mention it. Abbreviations. Don't assume that the recruiter knows who you are and what kind of specialist you are, and don't assume that the recruiter knows anything about your area of expertise. So use abbreviations sparsely and always at least one time fully write out the abbreviation, because recruiters, they when they have a vacancy, they really type in the exact word from the vacancy in their database or on LinkedIn, the exact word. So if you use an abbreviation and they're looking for the one of the terms consistent where the abbreviation is consistent of, they will not find you. And I know it sounds very stupid and totally irrational for you as a specialist, but trust me on this one. At least one time in your profile, in your resume, write all the terms out. And don't think only about regulation. Also think about certain software systems and other abbreviations. Don't assume that a recruiter knows what you're doing. A chronological order sounds simple, people still mess it up. Chronological, now I'm messing it up myself. It means you start with the most recent experience and then you go down to the less recent work experience. Same principle for your education, for everything else, except when there is a very specific reason to differ from this rule. Don't do it unless you have a really good reason. Chronological order, start with the most recent events and then go down in the history. Of course, this is way too short to tell you everything about how to write kill a resume. So I'm gonna make a YouTube challenge for you, a CV and LinkedIn rewrite challenge, in which I explain to you step for step everything you need to know about your CV and LinkedIn. So smash that click, like, subscribe, whatever button to stay informed when this goes online so you don't miss out on it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you at the next video.